Hey everyone, I'm Charting Man Dan with the Chart Guys. We had a pretty significant headline day out there today. Tesla, NVDA, DJT, we'll go over that. I'll go over some of my in-depth trading on the day. It was a pretty high-paced day, and I almost made a giant mistake. I'll show you how. So the S&P 500 is back testing the previous resistance, now support zone, and trying to hold. We know that if the bears are going to follow through and prove anything to us, they will need to eventually confirm a daily downtrend. And in the short term, it's just a daily inside bar without much going on today. NASDAQ had a bigger drop last week. Same deal, daily inside bar and trying to establish a new support. If the bears can confirm a daily downtrend from here, it will definitely get our attention as far as some follow through. SMH down testing a support zone as well. NVIDIA earnings Wednesday after hours is going to have a significant impact as to whether or not this can hold, but a very clear sideways range, double top at resistance, base of support currently holding, and bulls need to confirm an hourly uptrend by breaking the high of today, tomorrow, for that daily bounce to be underway. And then we'll scout a daily lower high to be the result of that bounce. But again, NVIDIA earnings going to have impact on the short term. So NVIDIA had a drop today. I've been watching this rising wedge. Again, earnings are going to dictate whether it confirms or not. But they had a headline. Honestly, I don't even know what it is off the top of my head. TradingView's got its new thing here. Anyways, I don't care what it is. That's me as a day trader. I know it's negative news. That's all I need to know. So 132.11, base of support. If you care about the specifics of the news, get on the Google. And we'll see what the earnings reaction is. We're either going to test all-time highs or we're going to potentially lose the weekly uptrend, which are obviously two very distinctly different things. IWM back testing previous resistance zone, trying to hold as support. Just a daily inside bar. The bulls still have proving to do. So a number of major indices here testing a key level. And again, if we bounce, the question will be, do we confirm daily lower highs and downtrends from here? Or do bulls keep control? All right, so trading today, a bit wild. We'll get to that in just a moment. Tesla first. So Tesla, I initiated. So here's an example of me wanting a swing position because I know after the big breakout on the election news pump that a daily high or low is the most likely scenario. So on Thursday, I give it a try. So Tesla day trade down to a swing size for potential daily high or low. We'll revisit as the day progresses. I ended up stopping out of that attempt. We had a nice first 10 minutes, but then it was bears all day. So I play this bounce, I position, I stop out, break even. I say, nope, I'm wrong. No daily high or low. All right, then I go to Friday and I give it another attempt. Same deal. So played the open, grabbed Tesla down to a swing size. That was within the first few minutes of Friday. So I did the same thing. I grab a position. My day trade position size is larger than my swing. So I grab a position first thing. I sell down to a swing size position, maybe $2 higher. And now my break even is under 310 on a swing size position. We break the low of the day by less than $1. I don't stop out, fortunately. And then we get a headline that Trump is going to potentially loosen restrictions on self-driving vehicles, which leads to a significant gap up. And now I've got a swing position with a very comfortable break even down at the daily high or low. And now it's just a question of, do we tighten up from here, which is definitely on the table. Wouldn't be surprised to see a tightening 4-hour range for the next couple of days because it is a fairly wide range. But I love positioning with day trades for potential swing. And again, it's because my day trade position sizes are larger because I'm in full control. For example, if I were bearish Tesla and we gap up on news, my loss is now way bigger than I anticipated. Whereas if it's day trading, I've got my stop loss. There's very few halts and gaps and things like that, although that's going to be a precursor to how I almost ruined today in a big way. But we'll see how that swing goes. Because my thesis is if the NASDAQ and S&P 500 stay strong, Tesla's going to be looking up towards all-time highs after that 3-month forever equilibrium broke bull. And of course, the tailwind of the potential benefit of the Trump presidency. PLTR had a big dump today. go over some of my day trades here. But we were running all-time highs, and we opened a bit lower, and then just 10% free fall drop. And so shout out to multiple people today, helped make me money. This is why trading is a team game. In our Chart Guys chat room, Star Pacro, shout out, because I was not watching PLTR at all. And then 17 minutes into the day, he says, PLTR 5-minute RSI is 9. That doesn't mean I just go over and buy. That means, oh, I want to look at this chart. So I pull up the chart. And this is going to show you how I scalp trade a bit. 9:47 is when that post was made. And so I then see a 1-minute volume climax with a lower wick. That's enough for me to give it an attempt. And so, excuse me. So here is how I position scaling in and scaling out. So I'm in at 59.31. The low of the day is 59.02. So I see a move to 59. I was going to buy a break of the psychological level. If it happened, it held. I start to see the lower wick forming, and I see the volume is going to be the highest 1-minute candle aside from the opening 1-minute candle. I say, that looks like a volume climax to me. I'm down to give it a shot. And at this point, I'm not playing off of a support level. I'm playing off the dollar risk that I'm willing to take. And that's why when I say I made a day maker, a day loser, I have those numbers designated so I know the amount of dollar risk that I'm willing to take on this trade. We then start getting a 1-minute bounce. I start scaling out. First order was a little bit too quick, but second order, solid 1% win. So I just exited 2/3 of that position. What does that mean? That means I've got 1/3 of a position remaining, and my break even at this point is 60, we'll call it, just for easy math, 75 cents off of that. So we're talking 58.60 is now my break even on my third position. And that third position I'm going to try and let play out for a 15-minute oversold bounce. So I get positioning on a shorter term time frame to allow for the longer term time frame to try and play out. We then break 59 psychological. I then rebuy what I sold. Why did I rebuy? At this point in time, the 5 and the 15-minute RSI are still crushed and have not cooled off at all. And so I'm comfortable adding those positions back because I'm in full control of this trade at this point. I'm still in a profitable third position, pretty much break even, and the bounce hasn't even started. And we know oftentimes a psychological number breaking can mark an extreme high or low, and a flag confirming with no follow through can mark an extreme high or low. So I buy back the 2/3 at 58.90. Right when 59 breaks, I mark it buy. And now where's my stop? My stop is not based on a level. It's based on the dollar risk that I'm willing to take on this trade. Then the bounce gets going. Fortunately, right after that, I exit half of my new position, so 1/3, at 59.25. My break even on my first third is now 58.60. My break even on my second third is now 58.55, 45, one of those, lower than 58.60. So now I got to break even roughly 58.55 on a 2/3 position, stop under the low of the day, let it play out. I then scale out, I exit some. My target was 5-minute EMA 12. Why? Because I'm in this trade because of the 5 and 15-minute RSI, knowing this is a former blue sky runner. And so I'm out, some over 60, down to 1/3 again. I exit my last third right around 61. I could have held it and had some more upside, but I didn't because number one, I was going to go run an errand. But more importantly, my reason for being in the trade is no longer the case. 5-minute and 15-minute are no longer oversold. I know a lower high is the most likely result of this bounce on whatever time frame I'm looking at. It was a 1.75 day maker at that point. So I lock in the 1.75 day maker, and that was that. And that all happened within 20 minutes. So shout out to the chat room assist, because I would not have made $1 unless someone brought my attention to this name. Same thing with DJT, end of the day. Headline, DJT looking to buy BKKT, another stock, crypto stock. And so, again, a post in the chat room. I'm not watching DJT at all at this moment. I'm getting ready for the end of the day. I'm probably done trading. DJT volume. Okay, I look at it. I see the headline. All right, I know that the market's going to care about that headline. Donald Trump, crypto. That's enough for it to run. I don't know where my orders are here. Bear with me. Trying to see where my first... I know I'm chasing at this point, so I'm very cautious in terms of exiting quickly to try and get in control of this trade. And so I buy 30.17 on the way up. It was after this 1 minute bull flag. So I'm in at 30.17, pretty much that new high of the day. And I start exiting right away again, because again, I'm chasing at this point. I know that it can turn around and put me in the red real quick. So I sell a third at 30.46. Now my break even is right around 30. I can set a stop loss at 30. I did end up averaging up. So once I'm in control and I see that the bulls are progressing here and they're grinding 1 minute EMA 12, I add higher. So I don't very often average up, but in this instance I was. So I bought, I was watching the price action, just the bid in the ask, and it favored to me that a new high of the day was coming. So I make another buy. I average up at 30.53, break 31. I start scaling out again, 31s, 32s. I have a small swing position at this point just because it's very comfortably profitable. But again, I would not have made $1 unless someone brought my attention to this move. I like DJT for the potential of a weekly higher low. I know a weekly higher low is the most likely scenario on this pullback, and we now have 3 weekly candles all touching 26, and that's a solid base. Can the bulls? Maybe it's going to be a daily inverse head and shoulders. Maybe they're going to break the daily lower highs and then need to confirm a daily uptrend. But BKKT is where I almost ruined my day. Look at that candle. And it's running after hours here. It's very illiquid, and you can look at this chart and know that shorts have been all over it for a long time. So this is a short squeeze, and they're getting squeezed after hours here. And I'm going to quadruple check that I don't have a position open, because that would be a disaster. But look at this 1 minute chart. Look at these halts. So here's a halt, and here's a halt on the way up, and here's a halt. And here we halted 4 times, and I almost threw away my entire day of really nice gains and Friday's gains because I shorted right here thinking, all right, I'm looking for a top into the end of the day after 3 halts. And then within 15 seconds, I'm now down a 4-day loser after being up a 3-day maker on the day. And we're halted into the close. And now I'm extremely uncomfortable. And it's just a question of damage control. How bad is this going to be? And fortunately, after hours, I got a chance to escape. But it's a big lesson for me. Don't mess around end of the day on halts. So here is me almost ruining my day. So sell short at 25.46. Now I blink and we're halted at 29.70. Like that, I'm down 8% or whatever. And then after hours, got out with some profit. It's a quarter day maker, but not worth it. Lesson big time. Don't mess around and risk ruining a solid, disciplined, in the zone day. That was greed, without a doubt. That all that is greed. Because I just, DJT just made my day really good at the end of the day. Let's keep it going. Nope. Greed. Financial sector. So on Friday, I exited my SQQQ hedge. I think I talked about it in the video last week that I did here. But I was in a QQQ hedge short just because we went straight up. We had the FOMC. So I exited that on Friday, perhaps right around here or so, late morning. And I switched and grabbed XLF short. Now, is there anything bearish about this chart? Absolutely not. But my mindset was, okay, I'm going to exit all of my hedge, but I still want some protection. And if QQQ bounces and we keep an inverse relationship between QQQ and XLF, then maybe it's time for XLF to consolidate. And the second reason I grab this hedge is I'm going to know if I'm wrong really quick. I've got to stop just above the all-time high here with a little wiggle room. And it's very small risk for some protection. We just traded sideways 5 days in a row. And we started the day inverse where 9:45 to 10:30 we're dropping. QQQ is going up. And I think, oh, all right, this is exactly what I wanted to see. But then the correlation shifted and it favored the bulls because XLF and QQQ started going up together. So I may stop out of this hedge attempt real quick. But XLF, no red flags whatsoever. Bulls just fine. All-time high close today, even though not a new all-time high. XLV. So XLV is dumping due to the headline of the potential of RFK Jr. being HHS director or whatever the title is. So here we are. I'm going to be looking for a long-term healthcare sector top, potentially a head and shoulders. Again, you hear me talking about blow off top. Look at the 12-month chart. The last 15 years. Stair step for 15 years in a row, aside from the CVID dump with a tiny little wick. Is this chart sustainable? What's going to happen on this chart eventually? Inevitably. It's going to pull back 40%. Even if it's just a EMA 12, that's 40%. I believe that the stair step pattern is going to break next year, and I'm watching for the potential that a monthly head and shoulders is going to do it. But in the meantime, I'm looking for a bounce because I believe that this downside is a bit overdone on the headline reaction. And so I'm looking at XBI. I made an attempt on XBI today, started great, had a nice little cushion position on this, quick 0.8% move up. New low of the day stops me out. Saying, no, not what I was looking for. In the end, it's an hourly sideways range, and we don't really have any information. Pretty much no new information from today versus Friday. But again, we just did a straight waterfall drop to some extreme shorter term RSI, 13.5% drop on XBI in 6 days. And so I'm looking for a daily bounce here. I'm going to try again tomorrow probably, depending on how things go and how things shape up. But dollar. Daily consolidation underway. Tons of space for a daily higher low. Metals enjoyed that drop. Gold. Did we get to oversold? Probably not quite. Chart guys, back burner. Just missed oversold, but daily bounce underway. Silver, same deal. Watching silver for the possibility of a weekly head and shoulders here. But keeping an eye on the inverse relationship to the dollar. And metal bulls would love if the dollar can fail this resistance zone that is being tested. Top, 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 testing. We'll see. Exciting day. Big mistake. Again, 14 years trading. I get the big reminders. I was acting on greed without a doubt. And I love the lessons that are break even or green because I very easily could have given back multiple days of hard work due to greed. All we can do is put as much time in between these kinds of mistakes as possible because they're inevitable to creep up again. All right, do good things. We'll see you soon.